Hey guys, Mike here. So before we start, I want to preface this by mentioning that we taped this all the way back on March 11th, just before the world basically came to a halt, or came crashing down, or got turned upside down, or shit hit the fan, or insert whatever cliche you want due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And as I tape this introduction, word has now come in that Anime North has been cancelled for this year. As you'll hear in the episode, we were invited again to tape. The episode was already going to be a unique one because we decided to record it rather lazily again with the Yeti mic. And COVID-19 was already casting its shadow back then. While we all knew that the virus was going to be a concern, admittedly, many of us didn't know what was about to happen, or at least happen to this scale. Really, this show has been on the back burner for some time, but it's a little further back now due to the crisis going on around us. That said, much like many of you, I'm here stuck at home myself on leave from my own regular job. And while I'm using this time trying to keep safe, I also want to take this time to catch up on a bunch of stuff and hopefully learn a few new things along the way. I don't want to say anything too philosophical again, because as always, there are others better at doing that. But I do constantly remind myself that we did tape the episode on the 9th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake. And I think about that in comparison to the pandemic so far, and how we go from that crisis to one the likes of which none of us have ever seen before. And while we don't know how this will really continue to unfold here in North America, you think that at some point it will be better. But I really do feel for those in places that have been the hardest hit thus far, like China, Italy, and Spain, where things have gone horribly bad. And I hope and pray that we can avoid that type of thing here and in other parts of the world. So to those of you listening to this, stay healthy and safe. Check on your friends and loved ones, especially if they're older. More often than not, a text or call is enough because you probably can't see them in person. Be good to others. And do something beneficial with yourself so that you can really be an asset to the world when the time comes to recover from this. We all know this is tough, but we'll do our best to entertain you just a little during this unique period in history. As for the episode itself, I like using the word dumpster fire.
The opinions expressed in the following are those of its participants and do not necessarily reflect those of the producers and the Six Talk Podcast Network. Also, the following contains mature material and mild language, which may not be suitable for all audiences. Discretion is advised.
And the podcast now commences on this Wednesday evening, March 11th, 2020. This is episode 17 of the Anime Roundtable version 2.0. Once again, if you're listening, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or comments, hit us up. You can go old school on the emails, animeroundtable@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram @animeroundtable, on Twitter @animeroundtable, and animeroundtable.com. Mike Nicolas, Kevin Ng, Mohamed Sharmarke around the table this evening. James isn't here, as well, I would have mentioned him second. Austin isn't here. As an accountant, it is now the most wonderful time of the year, and he got the business today, apparently.
Tax season.
It's tax season. He gave us a call earlier, saying
James,
he's at home having a headache with a pretty bad headache.
You're missing out, James. Brought cheesecake today.
See, this is where you would insert an audio clip of the Dio Gardi commercials where they go, "Tax man."
Oh, that's great. That's good. Good reference.
Those are good, yeah.
They don't play those on the radio anymore.
No. I think it's just because I think that's just become plain creepy.
The
Those commercials
didn't become creepy. It was
thought-
always
It
creepy.
was always creepy. Well, anyway, so it just dawned upon me. Today is, well, as I said, it's March 11th, 2020. It is the 8th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake. This podcast was not on the air. It was on mothballs at the time of the earthquake 8 years ago. I did briefly return just to say something about a year on, and then we disappeared, or I disappeared until 2 years ago. Yes, it's also we are just past the second anniversary of the return of the podcast as well. Do you have a reflection concerning the Great East Japan earthquake? Since we are eight years on, obviously it was big news in Japan, among other things, today there. And I'm watching some commemorative programming and reflective programming concerning it on NHK World. But I don't know. Do you guys want to say something about it?
You know, I forgot about that earthquake, to be honest with you. And now that you told me about it, it kind of triggered in my mind a memory of me watching this film at the JCCC. And I think the English title was called My Girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very creepy movie about a girl and her uncle that started living together after the earthquake. I think it was the earthquake.
This plot's beginning to sound a little familiar.
It was either the earthquake or the tsunami. I don't remember which one, but and it's a rated R movie for a reason. Let's just say that.
Oh boy. Okay, Mo, or what are you looking up now?
What he just mentioned, My Girl.
I think it was called My Girl.
Is it a movie or is it a TV show?
It's a Japanese movie.
Do you have a thought? Do you have a thought about it?
I could be off base, to be honest.
You know, whenever I think about that, I think of the Godzilla Re-Ping movie that they made with Bryan Cranston. Mm-hmm. The opening sequence of that was the whole nuclear fallout with Hiroshima.
Sorry, it wasn't the 8th anniversary. It's the 9th anniversary. Oh, it was 2011.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, all our comments are not mute. Doesn't make any sense anymore.
Oh, boy. Sorry. Yeah, I said 8th. No, sorry. I got my math wrong. It's the 9th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake. So, my bad. Oh.
No. Okay, I got the title wrong then.
Anyway.
It was something along those lines.
Well, yes. So, well, do you have a thought concerning the anniversary of the 9th anniversary?
I mean, it was a huge deal when it happened, right? I mean, I remember people being concerned about it spreading across the Pacific and somehow invading North America with its radioactiveness, I guess. I mean, saw the leaks and so forth, right? It's just, it was one of those, I don't know, open everyone's eyes on the dangers of nuclear power, right?
Yeah. Or... Yeah.
Like all the if we had memes back then, which we didn't, but if we did, there'd be a whole bunch of Godzilla memes, right? About how Japan's unlocked their nuclear ancestor or something, right?
God.
Oh, jeez. Well, I mean, I said my piece about it all those eight years ago when I said something. I wasn't awake. Like, how do I put some of what I remember of it? I saw some of the NHK stuff at the time, the NHK World stuff, and for about a month after the earthquake, they did an hour of news in English, and then at the bottom of the hour, they went into the NHK's domestic programming and showed whatever was airing in Japanese. And for people who were curious to keep up at the time, a lot of cable outlets, Rogers we were with is predominant in this area. They offered TV Japan for free for a few months after the earthquake in case people wanted to keep up, because that's partly NHK as well. And I will say I didn't watch too much of, like, I was asleep when it happened myself because it was late at night here in Toronto when the earthquake struck. But I saw some of the images and recordings of the live broadcast as it happened on NHK World, and I know that the anchor at the time was Gene Otani, who currently is their lead business anchor. And he does I think he hosts an interview show as well, a daily interview show on NHK World Now. And I wondered what was going through his mind that day. That wasn't the first time he had worked through earthquakes, because he worked during the Great Hanshin earthquake in the 90s as well, in 95, I believe it was. So he's been there. I wonder if he was he certainly, by all accounts, was very professional in the way he covered that day. But he's unfortunately seen it before. And he got won a lot of praise for the way he covered that.
You telling me this reminds me of how Howard Stern was following the September 11th attacks, and how he had to suddenly, how do I put this? He had to drop the usual shtick and just kind of just be like,
I'm freaked the fuck out.
Not really the voice of reason so much as he had to just
tone it down.
He had to just be there for the city.
Mm-hmm. I think that's sort of David Letterman too. Letterman was the key one in all of that. I think in the immediate aftermath of 9/11, he was he was one magazine, I forgot which one. I think one reviewer referred to Letterman's little monologue when he came back on after 9/11. He referred to that as the moment when America was told it was okay to laugh again. So, I mean, Letterman lost the ratings war, but the ratings war to Leno. But he's probably more ingrained in the history of American broadcasting than Leno would be at this point.
100%, could not agree more. It's Letterman over Leno any day of the week. Mm-hmm. Don't know why Leno was so popular for so long.
It's just Leno. Like, I mean, I found him funny, but I think his comedy was I found rather simple too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Letterman's stuff was more of a thinking man's comedy, I guess.
I think that's what it was, and I think that's why he still has a lot of the respect of the stand-up industry to this day,
yep.
And why he actually is on good terms with much of the comedy world. Leno has burned a lot of bridges, I'm afraid.
Oh man, you saw that whole incident a while back with him and America's Got Talent.
Oh, I didn't know about this. Tell me about this later on. Okay.
When is he? Yeah, well, I'll tell you off air.
Okay. So there's a couple of thoughts on 9 years on. Actually, one of the other things I bought into, like one of the first Kickstarters I ever bought into, there was this filmmaker in Japan who wanted to make a movie about high school students who grew up, that was set. He wanted to document high school students in the area, in the affected area, and I forgot where, but 3 years after the earthquake. After the earthquake and tsunami. So basically, they had spent their high school years in Fukushima, in this danger zone. And I have to find the link. It was called 3 Years On, and I actually bought into it. And it just interviewed the students, documented the students and interviewed them as they reflected back on their high school years in such unusual circumstances, such difficult circumstances. I guess we can go on and on about that. But from one crisis
to another,
the current one. And really, we had no idea really what we wanted to talk about tonight on the air. We just knew that, we went through all of February without doing an episode, so we thought we shouldn't let March go on too much longer.
I'm surprised. I thought we were so close.
Yeah, I know, we were so close. Well, we're, 11 days into March? We're about a third of the way through the month.
It's the day after Mario Day, so it's all good.
So...
Pi Day's in a few days, so it's good too.
Oh, yeah.
And White Day.
Way to go!
I mean, come on, man.
The same day as Pi Day.
True.
Well done. Okay, so the big talk these days is about COVID-19, the coronavirus.
Oh shit! I thought you were talking about impeachment. No.
Well, we already knew.
No, Mohamed, no.
We already knew which way that was going before it started. To be quite honest.
Yep.
Are you telling me this is not a political podcast?
Yes.
I wouldn't know.
Yes, Mohamed. Yes.
I'm horrible at that stuff. Anyway,
COVID-19.
COVID-19. Now that's the term.
Coronavirus.
That's the term that WHO wants to use in referring to coronavirus.
What's more deadly? What sounds worse, COVID-19 or coronavirus?
COVID-19 sounds worse.
It does, doesn't
it? Does.
Right?
It does sound. It does. It has more. It has more.
Big Brother, Black Ops, military, government, secret lab type nonsense going on. You know?
Wow, you're in that mode tonight, aren't you?
I feel like the government did this to us. Some kind of wild experiment that got loose and then killed all of humanity. COVID-19.
Way to go.
It's a real life version of the T virus. You know, it's just gonna kill all humanity.
Well, I mean, today there's been a lot of stuff like cancellations and delays and stuff related to COVID-19. The E3 was canceled today.
Oh no! What about the PS5 launch?
Yeah,
That will still happen.
Oh wait, no, well that'll still happen. And wasn't Sony not gonna do a presentation there anyway?
Are they pulling an Apple, or are they just gonna have their own conference that's like a week after E3 or something?
Something to that effect. Worth double checking. Overwatch League canceled all of their homestands for the rest of March and into April, and that'll include the one that's going to happen here in Toronto at Roy Thompson Hall in April next month. And more immediately, that's already close to home, and also fairly close to home. Anime North released a statement on their Facebook page saying, yes, the convention is still on in May, but we are keeping up with the situation. And we'll talk a little bit more Anime North later. Oh, and of course, sporting events. As we're talking right now, I'm putting up like an on-demand video of the current sumo tournament in Japan. Japan's been hit fairly hard. Obviously, they've canceled. They've either outright canceled sporting events, or they'll be playing to empty houses or empty arenas.
Wow.
As is the current sumo tournament that started on Sunday in Osaka. That tournament is being contested in an empty arena. So we're watching all these rather odd images of an empty arena, and the only sounds you hear are the grappling of the sumo wrestlers, trying to get the one up each other, which is just odd.
I can't wait for tomorrow. There's going to be the Golden State Warriors are playing the Brooklyn Nets.
Oh yes,
in Golden State or in San Francisco with an empty audience.
Yes,
it is going to be wild. I want to hear all the up close yelling that we don't normally hear because the audience covers it up. I want to hear all the swearing and the hits and the trash talking.
That could be really interesting. Now that you bring it up, you wonder how television coverage will have to handle that.
Oh my god, it's gonna be amazing.
I mean, we're watching some of this. The English commentary, as we're watching this, was joking around, well, our cameramen are getting better angles than usual, which they are.
Because there's no one in the audience.
Because, the cameraman can stand anywhere. So what is this? A statement from the Toronto Defiant. We will have answers for ticket holders as soon as possible.
Our poor beloved home team has now canceled their Homestead event.
They also suck right now. They're 1-4.
But it's the local team. You got to support that local team. Go competition.
Oh man.
Well, yeah, but the list goes on and on. And I mentioned Japan. The J League Soccer League has been their soccer league has been canceled for at least a month. The start of the baseball season there has been pushed back at least a month. The situation's fluid here in Toronto, or in much of North America. All the sports leagues here issued joint statements also saying, yeah, we're going to watch the situation, and we're not, the idea of empty arenas or cancellations, they're very much on the table. So that's how big this, and obviously in Europe, various large gatherings have been postponed or delayed. Coachella has been postponed.
Surprisingly.
So,
I mean, could you catch coronavirus at Coachella? Is that even possible?
Anything's possible right now, I guess.
I mean, you're in the middle
they can't seem to pin proper ways that people have contracted this. All they can do is track where people, where patients have been, and that gives a few answers. But I think some of the latest rounds of positive tests are like how they got that is a complete mystery.
It's basically jumped the shark of diseases. Went from something containable or trackable to how did some dude in the middle of Montana get COVID-19 where he's never been
basically
anywhere, right?
Yes.
It's like
it's sort of come down to something like that. Look, here in Toronto, there had been there's been a rash of panic buying. Never have I seen so much toilet paper.
Okay, have you guys experienced that?
Experienced what?
The rash buying of stuff? Because I personally have not, and I've been to a store and I just have not seen.
I went to one of the Costco's in Mississauga weekend.
Is it only at Costco's where people go?
Well, I just went there just on a whim, and they at the very least seem to be managing it okay. But I look above, above onto the shelves, and the shelves there are a little more bare than I could recall. But then again, I don't know if that's normal either. It's just the first time I noticed, and really because of the reports of all that panic buying, I looked up.
I don't think I've ever seen or experienced anything like that, to be honest.
I haven't seen it.
YZK.
Oh, well, not even. I don't have a good memory of that.
I personally feel like people were more panicked during Y2K than they are currently of COVID-19.
Well, in Toronto, remember, 2003, we had SARS to deal with.
True.
And I think that's part of the... first of all, there hasn't been any big hits here. There hasn't been a death in this area due to it. There's been about a dozen people who've contracted it.
True. There's only the one case in British Columbia.
The one death.
I feel like COVID-19 is a West Coast problem. BC can deal with it.
Well, considering how sometimes Toronto gets wrapped up whenever things happen to it.
True.
There's that's a Schadenfreude moment right there. But yeah, one, it hasn't been hard. This area hasn't been really hit by it. But the other thing is, I think, I come away with the feeling, well, we saw this before with SARS.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel about it.
Everyone was freaked out for a while and then just kind of went away. I think there was a nurse or two who died of it. True. It's one of those things where I feel like nothing's gonna happen, and probably nothing will happen, and I'm kind of blowing it off because whatever. But at the same time, what if this thing escalates and it's a giant what if one of the three of us dies? Or if someone dies, then it's you feel bad because you're blowing it off as some whatever thing. And
well, that's what we're doing here, right?
It's at first whatever. Then you think about it. Oh man, well, it could be big.
I mean, my own thing is just vigilance. I mean, where I work, there's a lot of people. I work amongst a lot of people. Oh
yeah, you do.
And well, you guys, I mean...
Subway, I took the subway, so I mean...
Yeah, we take public transit as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys take public transit.
Yep.
It's just, I don't take... It's not that I'm not taking it seriously, it's just... I'm not being panicked about it, either.
Same.
Right? Just take the normal precautions. It just doesn't do any good to be in a panic mode over it.
I will start panicking when I hear there are 40 or 50,000 cases in Toronto. Then I will panic.
There's only twice that many in the world.
If we hit 1 million cases in Canada, I will start freaking.
Then I will run to the grocery store and then panic even more when I can't find any toilet paper.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Well, so let's talk about this in terms of we've talked about in terms of events done. I've been wondering a little bit about how it's affected things in the anime world, which isn't, I can't say too much. Well, what did you find out? Give me a couple examples, and then we'll just move on because this is the only thing I can think about.
There's been at least one or two productions where the odd episode gets delayed.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them was the new Index show.
Yeah, that's right. Some releases have been delayed. I forgot them off the top of my head. I'm
not really keeping much track of this either, but I've just been, you go through ANN and then you see the odd article about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I know yesterday Megumi Ogata spoke up, said something.
What did Shinji say?
Complaints don't help us, for starters. So that seems to be one of the one of the things said. I'm just trying to find a.
That's a pretty atypical thing for Shinji to say.
Well, I'm trying to find a. Well, let's look up the ANN article. Yes, I'm pretty sure many of you could hear the typing.
What typing?
But yeah, I mean, I know Megumi Ogata had spoken something to that effect within the last day or so. But for what it's worth, what I remember of Japanese voice actors, it's worth it kind of harkens back to what we talked about when we talked about recordings in the past. When we talked about it, what we saw at IFF last year, and what we've known about it over the years. The way anime voices are recorded in Japan is quite different than voiceovers here in North America.
Oh yeah,
and probably one of the key differences is the fact that a lot of the players, a lot of the voices, a lot of the actors would probably be in the same room at the same time as the recording is going on, so they can really play off each other. And one thing that could be going on in all of that is it's entirely possible they're sharing the same microphones and the same space as well. So, I mean, one of the key things I remember seeing in these things being done is how Japanese voice actors, how Japanese seiyuu position themselves and shuffle themselves around the microphones as the recording is happening. So you see, so there's it's at worst a pause for thought, right? It's at worst a pause for thought where she may be coming from. But I don't know what else is out there that caught your attention in terms of like
COVID type news, I guess.
Coronavirus
news. I mean, the president's supposed to talk about it soon.
Oh well, that's another story.
Why do we need to talk about the fucking president of the United States?
I mean, he's gonna tell us that everything is okay, guys. I mean, isn't that what presidents do?
We don't fucking live in America. It's, you know...
I mean, our prime minister came out and was like, hey guys, I'll give you $1 billion to fight this. So
see, at least he's willing to do that much. Meanwhile, you have to pay $100 to $600 just to get tested for coronavirus, and that's assuming you have insurance in the United States.
I'm surprised, man. It's. I just find the two-facedness or the double talk hilarious. Where it's like, hey, you want a test? You'll get a test, and then it's like, actually, we don't have any tests.
Thanks for the money.
Why are we talking about? Okay, enough about politics.
Oh yeah, Megumi Ogata just asked. Okay, I found at least the ANN article. Basically, she's just saying have some understanding. Well, with the way things are going in China, Korea, and other countries, it's amazing that anything is on the air. Quote, apparently, right? Mm-hmm. So while the cuts to production are painful to everyone working on that side, we're working as hard as we can. So please, that's the rough translation, apparently, of a tweet she put out 2 days ago.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
that's a fair thing to say. But yeah, so multiple anime film openings have been pushed back from their planned opening date. Doraemon apparently is listed as one of those.
Oh.
Anime Japan 2020, so a convention.
But you know what convention is going to continue despite this? Anime Expo.
Oh, yeah. And even a fan event for the Final Fantasy VII remake, according to this article, has been delayed.
I wish I had that attachment to Final Fantasy VII that so many of my friends do.
Have you played the demo?
No, I don't have a PS4.
I could have sworn you had a PS4.
I have a PS3.
I have both, and I hardly touch them.
Yeah, the PS3 is the Blu-ray machine now. It's why I never bothered upgrading to a PS4, because I already knew I wasn't going to be playing any games.
Yeah, I've hardly played games.
Yeah, I own Persona 5 for PS4.
Way to go. Like it's like my sister wanting it. She's probably going to get one or both of Kingdom Hearts 3 or Final Fantasy 7 remake, even though she doesn't own a PS4.
Well, the clear answer is to get Final Fantasy 7.
Oh yeah. Oh, she was a big Kingdom Hearts fan. So
I don't
I'm a little surprised she
recall
doesn't
Kingdom
have
Hearts 3 being that great.
This coming from a guy who briefly worked at an EB.
There's a reason why it dropped in price so quickly.
Wait, what dropped in price over here?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of disappointing.
Kind of, from what I've heard.
Okay. So, as I said, the list goes on, and this is, as I said, a fluid situation, so...
Fluid.
Just for reference, we did mention Anime North earlier. We are now confirmed to do Anime North this year.
Hooray. Yay. Round of applause, guys.
Exactly what we're going to
gosh.
do is yet to be established, but it is now confirmed because we were in touch with, or I've been in touch with the people there already.
The people have spoken.
Well, yeah, the people there have spoken. So we'll be there. We'll be there for Anime North weekend, and we'll share more details as soon as we know them too. Okay, I guess that's the general talk already. Just off topic, I guess. It's been... Well, we weren't around in February, and the other key big thing that happened from Asia is it won an Academy Award for the first time for Best Picture.
Oh, yes.
Parasite.
Not the one with the alien hand.
Yeah, well... Okay, so...
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's an anime and manga series called Parasite, but it's spelled
Oh, yes.
YTE.
Yes.
Right,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking...
I was thinking that too, and then the second you bring it up, I forget it. When I first heard the word Parasite and an Asian movie.
Parasite is a great manga, by the way.
Yes, YT.
Highly recommended.
YTE.
Okay, the anime was okay, but in any case.
Well, okay. You guys saw the movie, right? Recap for me. Was it at the film festival? Was it at the
It was at
TIFF?
It was at TIFF.
What was the take on? Did you see it at TIFF?
I saw it at TIFF. It wasn't the premiere. The movie's premiere was not at TIFF. It was at Cannes, which it won, which was like a big deal. And I saw it at TIFF like happen chance. I think I was rushing, and there were seats available, so I got lucky on that. I will say this.
Give me a thought on where it was in the theater. Let's talk movies, actually.
Sure. I mean, I will say this about Parasite. It is, in my opinion, the most relatable, watchable movie that literally anyone can watch. I feel like no matter what your ethnic background, your age, your ethnicity, whatever, I feel like you can watch this movie and love it. The story is so universal. It's so simple and so good. It's like kind of like a bit of a whodunit, but then like not really. And then it's like the rich and the poor and the good and the evil. And then it's just such a good movie. It's so good. I mean, when the award season stuff was happening and like there's a lot of hype over 1917, I just assumed British war movie. War movies usually win all the awards, so 1917 will win. Which sucked because Parasite is a freaking great movie. But then, Twitter did its thing, and
Twitter did its thing. What did it do exactly?
Changed the minds and hearts of people to vote for this movie.
No, well, okay, I don't know if the common man and woman would have made much of a difference because it is ultimately up to the geriatric white people of the Academy to decide. It's true.
That's true. I mean, I can't complain with them.
It's true.
That's true. Yeah, it's so bad.
Why do you think Disney wins almost every year?
Hence
the animation.
Hence the Oscars so white hashtag.
Because they don't watch the films; their kids watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's another argument altogether.
And another rant coming up.
I will say, I saw it at Varsity downtown on a Sunday, and the theater was so packed. And this is like in December, I think.
Oh,
okay,
right. So I saw it before the awards hype,
season.
and then I saw it after when the awards hype happened at a Rainbow Cinema.
Which is the last leg cinema, I call it.
Exactly. And I'm surprised that they were showing off like that type of caliber movie at a Rainbow Cinema, and that the theater was packed. How is this movie so popular? It's just wow.
Where did you see it, Kevin?
I saw it at Winston Churchill 2 Tuesdays ago.
Was the audience pretty full?
I went for a late screening, so
not really.
like 30% full.
That's not what's the age demographic of the theater? We're talking like what's the medium age?
20 to 30 something.
Oh, sure.
Okay, I mean,
well, all the old people would go watch it in the afternoon.
I saw a matinee at Varsity, and the audience there was in the octogenarian range. So
okay, cool. I mean, I saw it. Well, there somebody was screening it in the little theater that exists here in this condo complex where we tape the show. So I saw it with a friend, and I just thought, well, I mean, I missed the first 30 minutes for starters, but that was just
the movie really picks up like halfway through.
Oh yeah, yes it did.
At what point did you like get it? Like, what point did you start? Was he already a tutor? Was he not a tutor?
All right, they were already. He was already the tutor.
Was the sister a tutor yet?
No. Oh yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I'm trying to. Some of it's a blur, but the end certainly rings true.
Man, there was so many movies about air quotes eating the rich this year. We have Parasite. We had Hustlers. We had Knives Out. Ready or Not came out too, which not a lot of people know about.
The wedding one. It's a good one. I saw it. It's she marries into a family of game makers. And anytime someone marries into the family, they have to play this game, which is like a box, and then like you pick a game, and it's usually some benign game like checkers or backgammon, and then once in a while you'll get hide or seek, and it's like, oh okay, hide or seek, but like with deadly weapons, and they go on a murdering rampage. It's a good movie.
I heard it's really good.
It's a really good movie.
Like it deserves a lot more credit than it does.
It's surprisingly good. It's not amazing. Like I'd choose Parasite over that, but it's one of those movies where it's like that was not terrible.
It suffered from bad distribution, if I recall correctly.
100%. Because like Adam Brody was in it, and I'm like, I know you. You were in stuff.
Who made Ready or Not again? I'm gonna look this up quickly.
As I said, the impression I had of Parasite was just. I mean, yeah, I see where the whole social commentary parts of it and what have you. It was just it was fun to watch, but it was weird.
That's why.
I like the way he shot different scenes in different styles. Like some scenes were almost like a different movie you're watching, almost the way it was shot. Right?
Well, at times, yeah.
At times, right? I mean, it was like the story was consistent, but he was like flexing his creativity and his skills and stuff, right?
That's probably and that probably helped him win the director award.
100%.
Of course, the other talk is, and sometimes we talk food. Yes, the noodle dish. They called it. The subtitle translation called it ramdon,
which is I didn't get. I didn't understand because that's not what he said, right? That's not what he said.
It's not the exact.
Isn't it ramyun usually for Koreans?
Yes, but that's the term that the English translators used. But it's really just how do I pronounce it? Japaguri, which is the name of two different brands of instant noodles. Of two different brands of instant noodles come together. Yeah.
You know what was interesting about that scene is that you see how much the parents love the son, and the daughter doesn't get nearly as much love.
But isn't that like
that happens a lot?
Yeah, I was gonna say because the family seem somewhat religious.
Well, I will say this much about every character in that movie. None of them came across as likable.
Oh, 100%. No one was.
Nobody
actually.
Maybe the son.
At least for me.
No,
I could care less about any of the guys.
No, I think her name is Dahi. Like the girl of the rich, the daughter of the rich family is the only likable character.
I had trouble.
I mean, technically, she's cheating on her other betrothed, I guess. No.
Well, they weren't. No, they weren't even going out. All the main character's friend, I don't remember any of their names. I'm sorry, but
neither do I. It's all good.
the friend of the main character said, "Oh well, I'm going to ask her out when I come back, whether or not they were, together or not.
True.
We don't know.
That's true. But I feel like
we can assume, but we don't truly know.
True.
But you can see from the kind of neglect she gets from her family how she grows attached to her tutors.
No,
okay, yeah, that's a fair statement, actually.
And right before the climax of the film, when the main character asks her, like, "Do I belong here?" and she says yes in a resounding way, as if, like, why wouldn't you belong here? Like, she answered him honestly.
True.
And she's really the only one in that family with, like, a heart. Because during the climax, what was she doing?
Wait, what was she doing?
She was holding, Parasite spoilers.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that happens at the end of the movie that's kind of spoilery.
She is trying to
find him.
She is carrying him on her shoulders.
Oh, after he had been okay.
Oh right, because she finds him yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
God, I totally forgot about that.
But that was it does stick with you, but it takes so many sudden turns, that movie. It was hilarious.
So
you can argue she's the only real human in that movie.
Okay,
with a heart.
Well, at least I will. You know what? I would watch it again just to see where you're going with that.
I feel kind of bad for the driver, the first driver.
Yeah, so
that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
He not only got fired, he basically had his entire he got beat. Wow, just like
it's
obliterated. Like there's nothing he can do for the rest of his life.
But that's part of the commentary of the movie,
right? I
suppose it's not just eat
the rich.
It's dog eat dog and eat the rich. Use whatever cliche you want and all of that. But that was for reference on the whole noodle dish, on the whole ramdon or japaguri. As I said, it's two different brands of noodles, two different types of noodles. They're made by the same company, so they've capitalized on the notoriety. I would go like there's a Korean supermarket near here, about 15 minutes west of here, and I pass by it, and I see it.
Bless you.
Should have hit the mute button.
Yeah, the mute button
on the other side. I should have there was a display saying
for the two
noodles.
Oh man,
it was hilarious. Make the ramdon you saw as seen in Parasite, basically, right?
Well, that's actually what it says.
Something like that, yeah. Something to that effect, as seen in Parasite, right? They were capitalizing it, but I wonder if it's like. Sometimes I'm wondering, considering how that movie went, how flattering it is. It's kind of like seeing a picture of Monty Burns from The Simpsons saying, as seen on 60 Minutes. So...
That's true. But and the dish itself is like...
well, that's... somebody did a deep dive, and somebody decided to read a lot into the fact what happened to the dish. Because it's two instant noodle dishes.
But the meat is some kind of like super high-end Wagyu beef type scenario.
Yes,
right?
That's the thing. And that's probably the biggest... that adds to the whole eat the rich commentary.
Exactly. Super dense.
The whole social commentary, right?
Exactly.
It's like, well, this isn't good enough for
normal people.
This isn't good enough for us upper class people.
Oh man.
Let me add something to it that will. And put like $100. It's a high value item, beef on it.
Yeah,
right?
it's like putting truffles on stuff, or gold flakes. It's like
basically yes. Yes,
I want
that's a
ice
good way
cream,
to put it.
But a rich version of ice cream.
Yes,
with some gold flakes on that.
Yeah, gold flakes. Yeah, with vanilla ice cream with some gold dust, right?
Yep.
Gold dust. Okay.
Well,
I don't know what else to say about this. It was a good watch. It's
interesting to see how it got its legs to even be a contender for Best Picture.
So it isn't just the story of the movie. It's the story. It isn't just the plot of the movie, but it's the whole. marketing of it too.
So if I have some of these facts could be a little off, but so Parasite is largely funded or is owned by the CJ Group. So CJE&M, like that huge Korean conglomerate. And
are they behind a lot of K-pop groups too?
They're behind in a number of those programs.
Because you know these type of things better than I do.
I'm not too knowledgeable on the Korean side, to be honest, but so they were originally a subsidiary of Samsung in the past.
Okay, yes.
So
tell me what Samsung doesn't have their fingers in.
So I didn't have time to really dig too deeply on this, but they have enough money to make this kind of push. Kind of like how Spirited Away won its Oscar back then.
And it had Disney to work
with. It had
Disney's marketing machine to work with. And now now all these years later, almost 20 years later, you just have to have the money. It really doesn't matter. Like we become even more global. So a marketing push from overseas is not unheard. Working in North America is not unheard of. It's probably expected now because it's just the way everything is connected globally.
And and you see all this, you see the proliferation of K-pop in the last 2 or 3 years, and you see you're seeing a lot more Asian media and people being recognized on both sides of the Pacific Ocean. And
I mean,
the timing was right, and I feel like perhaps the Academy took that into consideration as well.
You think there was a sympathy vote in that? I wouldn't say sympathy, but...
I wouldn't say sympathy vote, but it makes you wonder. Now, I will say that if we're talking about the content, definitely one of the best pictures. It definitely deserved to be at least in that list.
That was, as I said, that was...
just all the force sometimes. Like so many scenes in that film were like meticulously planned out. All these little references here and there that maybe you wouldn't pick out if you if you're not in tune with Korean society even, and just how different scenes kind of reflect different things. So for me, one of my favorite scenes was after the Great Escape, so to speak, and they're kind of they're walking down that huge flight of stairs in the rain,
which was a key.
It's as if I kind of thought of them as rats or cockroaches going back to where they really belong.
The whole idea that they lived in a sub basement level type situation where them in themselves didn't really see themselves as being below everyone else, even though they did physically live below everyone else. And then not seeing themselves... I mean, once they meet the other family that's living even below the actual house, I mean, them seeing themselves as hey, we don't live that below, we live kind of slightly above below, but not rich below.
Oh, man. I honestly did not expect the film to take that direction. I went in with no expectation. Not really no expectations, but... I went in with no idea of how it was going to turn out.
I went in,
and I'm glad that I did.
It's one of those movies that's really good to go in blind, not knowing, even though we've spoiled it here.
And this is why you don't watch movie trailers. Because movie trailers, by and large, spoil the film.
I encourage everyone to petition their local government person to ban all movie trailers. I feel like that should be our number one priorities. I know we have a new Liberal person in Ontario. He should take up that cause of banning all movie trailers.
Yeah,
Steve, I know you're listening.
He has bigger things to worry about.
Priority number 1: banning movie trailers.
Oh boy. Anyway, that's the main thought, I guess. I mean, there isn't too much. This is just a smorgasbord episode. We've literally thrown together this whole thing today, right? I mean, we just plugged in the microphone again. We just plugged in the Yeti mic again just to talk.
Well, it's becoming par for the course.
Well, no, just this is 2 episodes in a row, but you're right. I agree. We really should do a little bit more of an effort in the future.
I mean, look at the bright side. We're doing episodes.
Right? Yeah, that's a start with the way the last number of months have gone.
You know, with the coronavirus and stuff, we should be at home quarantined and stuff, right?
No, it's we're not.
I don't know
that much in the. We're not anywhere close to any epicenters at the moment.
Oh,
well, it's good to be alive still, regardless.
Definitely, yeah.
So
big ups to that, man. all the people listening to this episode who are currently still alive, right on.
Well, and as I said, life is just there at the moment. I mean, James is enjoying the most wonderful time of the year, as we said, for his line of work.
Oh, James.
Hang in there, Mr. Austin. And obviously, there's other stuff we want to talk about. We should really try and keep up a little bit more.
Definitely. I mean, we did see movies.
I mean, we saw some movies. Oh, yes. I guess before we go, Ride Your Wave, right?
Ride That Wave.
Oh, that film was so fun to watch.
Well,
I will say this. I'm really enjoying movies, anime movies, especially being shown in theaters. It's super nice. They should have it more often.
I'm wondering, like, I have to look this up because I know our old friend Jesse Betteridge has talked about the Cineplex sale that happened a few months ago and how maybe this isn't a good thing.
Yeah, it's kind of in limbo, I guess, right now, where they're kind of renegotiating prices.
Yes, because of the partly because of coronavirus as
Which
well. Because large gatherings.
Is a movie theater considered a large gathering?
Big enough.
Big enough.
I mean, if that's the case, they should cancel the subway because that's pretty much the size of a movie theater.
What? Cancel?
It's all subway services, all public transit, I guess.
Well, we live in Toronto. We live in Toronto. We don't need a virus for that.
You know how dumb of an idea that is.
If we live in Toronto, you have no that happens without anything like that happening.
Mohamed,
in the city.
The TTC is broke enough already.
Oh man,
we don't need voluntary subway closures.
Wait, when you say broke, are we talking money wise or just plain fucked up system?
Both.
Yes, that's the answer.
Okay, you know what? Are we really going to talk about transit?
No, we're not.
Please don't make me talk about transit.
We should dedicate the rest of the episode just to talk about the fucked up.
Because I can bitch about transit for 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay, so which you won't.
Yes, thank you.
But here's the part that caught my attention. Okay, like last time we were around, we talked about Weathering with You.
Yeah, which is still in theaters.
And this is the thing. I rushed out to watch it mainly because I didn't think it would last long in theaters, but it did.
Yeah, so
Ride Your Wave didn't. Its showing came and went, and we saw a trailer for it.
So after I watched Ride Your Wave with my friend, the next screening was Weathering with You.
Yeah. Weathering with You is just out there at the moment, right? It's just completely...
This was 2.5 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. But Ride Your Wave can't find it anywhere in theaters at the moment, right?
Did something happen to the movie? Like, was there a distribution situation?
No, it was always a limited release.
For Ride Your Wave.
Yeah.
Right? But not Weathering with You or the new My Hero Academia movie. I mean, it's...
I don't know how long that's been running.
The My Hero Academia?
Yeah.
So originally, it was supposed to be 2 nights. I think 15 or 16 or something.
Yeah.
In February.
Yeah. I remember the last day they were showing was like a Wednesday. I remember calling Mike, going, "Hey, Mike,
I know, and I was.
Let's go see this movie." And
I was not in it. I was just not in it.
Yeah, because I mean, I honestly was like freaked out, going, "It's gonna be the last day. I'm not gonna get a chance to see it." And now it's like freaking everywhere, all the time.
Oh.
It was like 6 showings today at like Young Dundas.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Young Dundas as well.
No, they're showing like at Vaughan, at Winston Churchill, Eglinton, Queensway.
We're talking about My Hero Academia, right?
Yeah, literally everywhere. In English and French.
Well, it is the new Naruto.
Sorry, English and Japanese.
It's
the new Naruto.
That's true. It is the new Naruto.
Maybe that's how it's managed to keep its running.
But then what about Weathering with You? I mean, why is that? And it's being shown in like independent theaters now. Like you can watch it at like the Paradise, at like the Kingsway. It's ridiculous.
It's writing off of the Your Name popularity is how I see it.
Well, how well known was Your Name?
I know, right?
That's the thing. I mean, it's a no-brainer to many of us who keep up with this.
No, a lot of casual fans did watch Your Name. Why do you think so many people turn up for Weathering with You as a result?
Well, I watched it in
That's what I think.
I watched it in an empty theater before empty theaters became a thing.
Well, you went in the afternoon, didn't you?
Late morning.
There you go.
Late morning show.
Well, 11 o'clock is not a late morning.
It's technically it's late morning,
Yeah,
but
I
like,
guess, I guess.
but you wouldn't. You will never really expect screenings that early in the morning to sell out.
I don't. That's not true. I think I've been to like a 9 a.m. sold out screening of something before.
Was it at TIFF? Because if it's at TIFF, that explains that.
Okay, Kevin, I get it. You're smart.
Fuego today, aren't you, Kevin? Okay, so what do we say first of all about Ride Your Wave? Was it like you said it was a good, worth it?
It's definitely one of his. It's definitely one of the more accessible films by that director. Like Yuasa's always been known for very like esoteric, very kind of. I don't want to say weird, but he definitely has his own aesthetic, and it doesn't always jive with fans. So, like some of his earlier works, like Kenomozume or Kaiba or the Tatami Galaxy, like people recognize those as good shows, but then not a lot of people watch them. And so for a good while, like he couldn't get a gig. Not really couldn't get a gig, but like he wasn't really able to get projects off the ground. And it wasn't until the Kick Heart Kickstarter where people started realizing like, oh, okay, like there's something there. Like, okay, well, you know, he kind of got another look at by, you know, producers and whatnot. And then Devilman Crybaby happened and...
And Night is Short. Well,
Yeah.
Devilman Crybaby came afterwards. But Night is Short. See, Night is Short, Walk On Girl, that's still a movie I want to see.
I still want to watch that too.
You've never seen it? Seriously.
I missed it when it was here.
Yeah, the only way I could watch it now is in theater, is Blu-ray, I guess, I suppose. Unless it comes out, you know, in a streaming service.
And now, him and God, I always forget that woman's name, but they created Science Saru, and now they're now getting regular work. And this season's show is Hands Off Azoken or whatever. I think that's the name of the show.
Keep your hands off Azoken.
Yeah, and that show is very well received. Devilman Crybaby like single-handedly revived that franchise. And I think Lou Over the Wall was a little more accessible as
You
well.
know your stuff. I'm
Dude.
looking at this list here.
Well, that's the film before Ride Your Wave, if I'm not mistaken.
Devilman Crybaby was 2018. Ride Your Wave is 2019. Lou Over the Wall is 2017.
Yeah, it's. I feel like Ride Your Wave was a more toned down Masaki Yuasa, but you can still see the technique.
Oh yeah, I could see that part was obvious. The visuals were pretty obvious for me. I mean, I've seen enough of the designs of at least Night is Short to have recognized it's the same guy when I saw the second I saw that trailer.
Yeah, and
It had to be him.
it was that movie's main theme is dealing with loss, and
Japanese are into that, by the way.
Yeah.
The Japanese are really into that type of stuff.
and it's essentially showing how three different people are dealing with that loss. And you know, the supernatural element wasn't really expecting that, but
I don't think anyone was.
at the same time it's like, yeah, you know, that's cool. And
It works.
yeah. And
Full bottle of water.
for me, the big wave scene during the climax of the film, amazing.
Right on.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Jeez, I missed out. I really like. If there's another chance, and for reference, I heard Promari's getting another screening.
No,
in
really?
the future.
Because they're adding another prequel short
No way. Hold on. When is this happening?
It'll be in April.
in the States. I don't know if we're getting it.
Why not?
But
I don't
Promari's
know.
going to get another run in the theaters. So I'd like to think,
Man, I have to go pay to see Premiere a third time.
I'll pass. Thank you.
I didn't watch those shorts, so I could try and convince a friend to go, and maybe that will be my impetus to seeing it a third time.
I may
On a
pass,
Tuesday.
Yeah, I may pass on that. Well, I passed on the second time around.
Hey, has anyone seen the new Castlevania yet?
Castlevania.
Yeah.
Ooh, no, not yet.
Kevin?
I didn't get around to it. Well, I don't.
Oh, right.
I don't have Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, my Netflix... See, my streaming watching these days involve things like... I've been watching Star Trek Picard, but that's another story altogether, I guess.
The new season of Castlevania is pretty good.
Okay. I've heard a lot of... I've never watched it, strangely.
You know what?
What do you want to say about it before we go to this?
It's try to think back to season 1, what that was about. It's really nice looking. It's beautiful. I guess I don't know.
I played the original games. I played the 2 original video games.
I think I played.
then.
I played the which one was the Symphony of Nights?
Symphony of Nights considered probably the peak of the video game series.
Yeah, that one.
But I played 1 and 2, and that was both were really a lot of fun to watch. A lot of fun to play.
I will say season 3 gets very explicit.
Cool.
In terms of violence?
In terms of nudity.
In terms of a lot of other things.
We're getting full on frontal nudity action.
And there's your
are you
your
saying
promotion right there. And there's your marketing right there.
Are we talking you just see naked people, or do we see them fornicating as well?
Spoiler alert, guys. You see Alucard's dick.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Which I guess, with the gruesomeness of the deaths in the show, it counteracts to, sure, we'll show a little penis.
You know what? That's great, because we see breasts so often.
We see breasts too in the show.
We see breasts so often in media, but it's not often when you see a penis. And you know what? I'm all for equal opportunity.
100%.
Way to go.
I am comfortable in my sexuality.
Yeah.
To see a penis every so often.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Show's pretty good anyways.
I have no clue what to say with that. And that's a great note to end the show on. Oh. Actually, we should be, I guess the next time we're on, as I said, it's good to have...
What's next? I feel like Premiere is being re-released maybe. What's the next big anime?
Maybe. I don't know at this point. I'll get back to you.
When's that? I feel like there should be a...
Something?
Fate Stay Night movie coming soon, but I don't remember the date for that.
Oh, yes. Actually, on that note, should we talk... actually, we're not done yet. On that note, can we talk a little bit about the 2 conventions still to happen at both Anime North and IFF?
Yes.
Okay, so let's quickly go to Anime North. Should it happen? It's in 71 days, May 22nd to the 24th. We'll be there. Yes.
I'm calling it right now.
What?
That Anime North will go on and will happen. Coronavirus will no longer be a thing by end of April.
Well, okay, so
I'm being hopefully optimistic. I think we've talked about this a gazillion times already. But
so far, 8 voice actor guests have been announced.
Okay.
Yes.
Aaron Zek, Elizabeth Maxwell, Cara Eberly, Jason Liebright, Richard Epcar. Oh yeah!
Oh my god.
Ellen Stern, Caitlin Glass, and Noriko Shitaya.
Yeah, she's coming back. She's coming back to Toronto.
Yes, because she was here last year, wasn't she?
Yes, she was at IFF last year.
And I will let me correct my pronunciation because I know I will be taken to task. I'll say it properly this time. Noriko Shitaya. Okay, I did get it wrong. Okay. But she is coming back to Toronto for her second go-around. First time she was at IFF last year.
Oh, do I buy Lubin the Third to get that autographed, or do I buy Ghost in the Shell
Ghost in the Shell.
and get that autographed.
The Ghost in the Shell.
But I feel like there's still no good release of the Ghost in the Shell movie though. Manga entertainment always fucks up the release one way or another. Could buy Innocence though. I could buy Ghost in the Shell too, in a sense.
So, well, first reaction on these guests. It's an interesting list, knowing what these actors have performed in the past.
So for Richard Epcar, I know him mostly for Bato in the Ghost in the Shell franchise. I'm pretty sure he was Bato, if I'm not mistaken. He's also Joseph Joestar in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3. Did he do Part 2? I don't watch the dub, so I don't know. And I also know him as I believe he was Jigen in Lupin the Third.
Yes. There you go.
And that was a Lupin the Third part. I think was that Part 2. I think it was Part 2. Yeah, like the longer running loop, like the long Lupin TV series.
Bato and Ghost in the Shell. Yes,
that was a great dub.
So yeah, and he might be voted one of the top 20 video game voice actors of all time, and a top 20 in anime actors of all time. So he's up there. So we're talking a rather historic figure, right?
Oh yeah, he's been around.
I guess we should also say something for IFF as well. That's set to happen in June 19th to the 21st, a month after.
Has that been canceled?
Too far off.
That's pretty daring of them to have
it
it so soon. No, to have it 2 to 3 weeks after Anime North.
The thing is, IFF happened a month before Anime North last year, and now it's going to happen roughly a month after Anime North,
which is smart. I feel like Anime North is like an institution. It's like the backbone of conventions and stuff.
Well, in so Canada,
forth,
yeah,
right. So you should not be stepping on their toes in any way, shape, or form.
No, they don't give a fuck about that.
Really?
No, they're a for-profit convention. If anything, one potential concern is that your audience may not have enough money after Anime North. So perhaps some people may need to make a decision.
That's where it gets interesting.
True.
Marina Inoue, Tetsuya Kakihara, and Shotaro Morikubo are set for IFF this year.
What was that?
Are you getting a table this year?
What?
We're talking for flea market?
Flea market's
Omanoichi?
applications don't begin for that stupid lottery until April.
Stupid lottery.
Wait, what lottery? How does it work?
No, it's a lot. We've
talked about this before, but nowadays it's done by lottery, where you either get it or you don't.
See,
it's not first come first serve anymore.
Fill out a form or something.
Yeah, you make your application.
Okay.
And then they use some thing to randomly assign the tables to people.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of randomly assigning tables to people?
That's another story.
How sophisticated and transparent is this system?
This
is it?
That's another story.
This person has been mentioned in the podcast.
We probably should turn off the microphone at that point. So I guess we will in a few minutes.
April surprise, baby.
Well, as I said, that's the first immediate look at both of those conventions.
Maria Inoue is a big guest to get.
Yeah, that's what I could gather. I'll tell you this much, and that takes place, at the convention at the Metro Toronto Convention Center, same place that Fan Expo will take place at, a month onward or a couple months after that in August. And the same convention center where the Canadian International Auto Show took place last month. I'm saying that because I went to that, and it was like the first time in decades for me since I saw it. And I have to say, it's just weird seeing the place in a non-science fiction convention light, right? And the auto show is probably the single biggest thing that happens there. That happens at the convention center, and as I said, but I know I hang out there more for for the Fan Expo stuff in the past and IFF before. Anyway,
I forgot she was Yoko in Gurren Lagann. Oh,
this goes on and on with Miss Inoue, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, well, we're gonna wipe the drool off of Kevin's chin and call it an episode. Is there anything else you want to say?
I have no drool on my chin, just so you know.
Okay. He seems to be looking forward to it, so there's plenty of reasons to check both out, I guess, if you have the money. Yours to discover.
Sure.
That phrase will be changing soon in Ontario.
Didn't it already change to open for business or whatever? Okay,
no.
We were not supposed to talk about politics.
And we won't.
We won't. No, definitely.
Well, we're done.
Yeah.
Because we're more than, it's almost an hour, 10 minutes in.
Oh, I'm going to say one last thing.
Okay. Good.
Nerd Market, March 24th, for anybody who did that in the past.
Oh, yeah, that.
It's going to be at Hart House, I believe.
Oh, yeah, no,
Hart House?
I couldn't go. I couldn't do it because of work. I was informed about it, but hopefully it goes well for everyone who gets to do it.
Actually, no. I think it's in Hart House.
Did you? All right, quickly. Have you done the Nerd Market in the past?
Sorry, my mistake. March 28th.
Okay, cool.
But it will be. I'm just looking. Yeah, it's in Hart House.
Did you do the Nerd Market? I did it once.
I did the first one.
I did the second.
We talked about this in the past, but it was a year ago. But yeah, I did it once. I think it's a good event. Obviously,
didn't do well. I hardly sold anything myself, but it was well organized.
It could be run a little longer, to be honest, but I'm sure certain things factor into it, like how long they can get rooms and whatnot.
Yeah, because it's another location compared to other times, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I think there were anime stuff there, but it is a little more broad.
Mm-hmm. It tries to be, yeah.
I feel like it doesn't really. I don't have enough used stuff anymore to justify, and I don't have enough merch, random little merch, to justify it either.
Okay. The only thing I'll say about the experience, and I do have merch, and I have to sell sell a lot of it still. So we'll be talking about that. Hopefully in the future here on this show. The one thing that'll always stick with me about my own experience at the Nerd Market was the organization. It was well organized. Mm-hmm. They knew what they were. They did know what they were doing. It doesn't get the profile I think it should get in the city.
Tables. Yeah, I agree.
It should, you wish it did because it's good for business, I suppose. But
yeah,
it just struck me as well organized. That was just the thing. That's the thing. The takeaway I had. I did not do well at that. I think I only sold one or two items.
Tables sold out within a week.
Oh, they're all they're ready to go for this one.
Yeah, those are all sold out. Waitlist is full.
Are you doing it?
No,
okay.
I only found out 2 or 3 days ago because my friend was asking me if I was going to do it.
I should have.
My friend.
I got the email, and I remember Clint quite well.
So he's going to sell at the event.
I got the email from them because since I did it last time.
Yeah.
The problem is I can't say too much else because I was sick also during that weekend.
Oh yes.
I had a really bad cold. Or something.
I might go and check it out.
I can't. That's the other thing. I'm since I'm busy with work.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, hopefully, as I said, thanks for coming out.
You're welcome.
Just to chat for a little bit because this is really just space heater chat because we can't call it a fireside chat because we don't have a fireplace because we're poor. So thanks for coming out for this space heater chat.
Wait, what?
Well, you didn't get the reference.
Fireside chat?
Yeah, we can't. As I said, we can't. I'll tell you afterwards. He got the reference.
No. I got it. Fireside chat, T4, Radiator, Parasite.
Yeah.
All good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because at the very least, we do live above ground here.
Not that far. It's only halfway.
Yeah, halfway up.
Yeah.
Anyway, but to everyone out there, thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll have the proper setup and better organization for the next episode.
What is our contact information again?
Oh, you want to do that?
Yeah. Well, I don't remember all.
Okay, so once again, if you want to criticize this episode, give it 1 star. Well, at least tell us directly you're going to do that. You can email us old school.
Don't anime to do that.
animeroundtable@gmail.com. Like anyone listens to the show.
No,
someone might.
No, if you give any shit about us, rate us 5 stars because then that will expose us to more people.
Definitely.
No, that's really how it works.
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, give us something.
Maybe we don't deserve it, but
give us a bone at least. This wasn't a. Let's be honest. The most well organized episode. We'll look that up a bit later.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So yeah, animeroundtable@gmail.com is our email address. We're on Instagram and Twitter @animeroundtable, and online, although we have to really update it, animeroundtable.com.
Yeah.
Hit us up. At least listen to check out the archive.
Just Google Anime Roundtable in your favorite podcast device listener.
Yeah.
You know,
we're very much on Apple iTunes. We're on Spotify. Pretty sure you can most places where you can get podcasts.
We're on SoundCloud as well.
Yeah, we're on SoundCloud.
Trying to get
If
that.
you're still using that.
But you give us a listen and hopefully we'll get another one up within a month.
Well, it's up to you, Mike.
Yeah, it is up to me, and we'll organize it a little better. But in any event, thanks for listening. Join us again for another edition of the Anime Roundtable on Six Talk.